It's just, I knew he wasn't a coward, and I knew the way he carried himself, he wasn't an ass.
Right.
So that's hard to find in two people, you know, in one person.
Interesting. Inside, huh? They're
Yeah.
either going to be one or the other. They're going to be a coward, or they're going to be, or an asshole. And usually that asshole is the bluster to cover up the fact that they're afraid.
Yeah.
In a lot of instances, like you said, that's why people click up.
Yeah.
While incarcerated, they click up for survival purposes, for or protection.
You know, when I was in the youth authority, they basically only had one gang back in the day. Because, you know, I'm 72 years old. And this white guy, he joined the Spanish gang because he was a coward. And he comes up to me one day and he says, man, you ought to join up with these guys. And I told him, I says, they got you walking with your ass up against the wall. I said, they got you with your feet turned in like penguins. They got you squatting all the time. So what kind of man are you?
Right.
And then he said, and I said, if you don't like what I said,
well,
you
I said what I said, huh?
You can always do something about it. Or try to go get some of your friends. It's just,
but a lot of that is about protection and things. And it brings to mind another.
And you know the sad part? The ones they have to be protected by most of the time is their own.
Yes.
You know, it's like ABs inside. I mean, I know a lot of nice dudes with ABs. But there's a lot of them, and the only ones that they're going to pick on is their own race.
And the weak that come into their fold, they prey on them. Yeah,
they had this guy, I can't think of his name, Gypsy or something like that. And he was about 6'6", and he had arms on him like 20s, you know. And he'd run in there on the white guys, like you're talking about weak guys, and take their stuff. And finally the head AB told him, you gotta quit this.
Right.
And he thought he was so big that nobody could deal with him.
Oh.
So he did it again, of course. So he goes out to the weight yard, he goes up with a bar of weight, and when he's going up, another dude's coming down with a dumbbell, cracked his head open.
Did he survive?
Hell no.
Okay, I was about to say.
No.
Because that's something, and
see, that's what I'd say. I don't care who
that's
you
why
are.
you didn't want to be involved in those organizations and those things?
I don't need somebody to protect me. I'm not bad. Don't get me wrong. Anybody can be God.
Yes.
You know, and if you think you can't, just like that dumbass.
Right.
He learned the hard way.
Well, I don't know if he learned it or not because he didn't survive to tell the story, so we can't determine whether he actually learned or not.
I'm saying, like, I don't like groups. I don't want.
You don't need to be in a clique.
No, and I don't want to be depended on because you screw up.
Right.
If I screw up, you come after me.
Right.
But see, I've always been a pretty straightforward person, but like I said, I've been raised through the state.
Right.
So I know most of the shot callers.
Right.
Like this guy come up to me one day on the yard and he tells me, because I worked in the back of the shoe, you know, as a plumber, because I was a plumber all the time I was there. And he tells me, I'm going to take something to somebody. So I asked him, I said, I've never seen him before. I said, well, who are you? I'm AB. And I said, okay. I said, let me get back with you. I got to go do something. So I went over, the ABs used to cover the trash area in Old Folsom. So I went over to the shot caller and I told him, I said, I'm fixing to kill one of your dudes. He says, why are you telling me? I said, because he's one of you. I said, I don't want you to think I'm killing one of y'all and I have to deal with y'all. And I told him why I was going to kill him. And I said, if he says something to me again, I'm killing him. Then he told me, he says, let me take care of this.
Right.
And so, the rest of the time I ever seen that guy in Folsom, if I was on this side of the yard, he was
went
on
to the other side.
He went to the other side.
Now, and so I will say, in that regard, that is part of the prison politics of dealing with people. And you understood that this person was part of the Aryan Brotherhood, and that there was a shot caller there, and you needed to let them know ahead of time. That was to protect yourself on the back end.
He turned out to be a runner, a wannabe.
Okay.
Somebody was running for him.
So,
but you've known me for a long time.
Yes.
No way in hell am I racial.
No.
And
I'm sure that's probably another reason why you couldn't do all of the things.
Yeah,
because you I never forget, one of the things I thought was the most interesting thing ever is that for you as a white man, one of the sense that makes you have fond memories of is a black woman getting her hair straightened with a straightening comb on a Sunday morning.
Sunday my ass. Every day I went to school, I stopped at my friend's house, and that's all you smell.
Is it her mom straightening hair? Yeah. And so for you, there was no purpose in that. And this is the thing.
No, the reason I'm not racial is because of my mother.
Right.
My mother taught me when I was young, nobody's better than nobody else.
Right.
And when they started moving out of Compton, the whites, my mom refused to move.
Okay.
She don't play that racial shit, and she ain't gonna have her kids play it.
Right.
But like I said, when I'm inside, people have different jobs. Painters, plumbers, electricians.
Yes.
And a lot of them say, well, I'm black, so I'm not gonna work on no white boy's house.
Right.
Vice versa, vice versa. I had a job to do, in my mind, and I was damn good at it. As far as I was concerned, unless you was a rat or something that I knew, you had two things coming. You had your sink working and your toilet working.
Okay.
And I don't give a damn who you are.
Okay.
And everybody knew that about me. It wasn't about, is he gonna play these games?
Right.
Now, if I do something extra, I expect to get paid.
Okay.
But as far as the basics, you're gonna get it.
Right. So let me ask you this. So somebody may come to you and say, I have a problem with my toilet or with my sink, or did they go through the institution to come to you?
No.
Okay, so you would fix things, and then if there was something over and above the toilet or the sink,
then I would charge them.
Then you would charge. Okay.
But as far as I was concerned, those two basics you had coming.
Yes.
And everybody knew I felt that way.
And why was that? Like it was just because they're basic things that you just cannot function without in that setting.
Yeah, you got to be able to wash your face and brush your teeth, and you got to be able to flush your shit.
Right, exactly.
But like I said, I think in my mind I was being paid to fix that.
Yes.
And I don't care what race you are. But you know what? I've had guys from other races come to me and say, hey man, don't go to the yard today. And I tell them, okay. I'll just work inside, and 10 minutes later after they let the yard out,
fight.
Fight. No fights.
Right.
Back in the day, it was all stabbing. There was no such thing as a fight.
Okay, it was but I want to double back to how to deal with. How would people who feel the isolation that you feel relate around holidays? How do you deal with that? What would you say to somebody listening to, how do you process that? What do you do with the fact that you don't necessarily have somebody? And I know you're not a big group person, but at the same time, the holidays still suck because you're by yourself.
Yeah, but I'm by myself, I think, because I want to be too. Okay. Because it's like tomorrow, they're having a Halloween shingy-dig over there. Okay. And I'm more than likely ain't gonna go to it. Okay. And it's not because I don't like the people that's going. Right. It's just that I don't like crowds. Because even now, if somebody walks behind me, I'm not happy.
Okay, so listen. For those people who may not understand what that means, while incarcerated, people are uncomfortable with somebody standing directly behind them. Why?
In a blind spot.
In a blind spot where they cannot see you. The reason for that is that's how people get stabbed.
You know, when I started going to church out here, they have like a main section, and then they break up in these small groups for like Sunday school. And I told the bishop, I said, I'm sorry, I can't go in there. I tried it, but I can't. Even with me against the wall, I'm not comfortable.
With somebody standing directly behind you. I've told
Or
this story
on the side of me,
on
or
the side. I've told this story before too, where a guy who had come from, he had done about 18 years, and he went to stand on the bus stop, and a guy walked up behind him from the bus stop just to stand on the bus stop, and was right behind him, and this guy went ballistic.
Yeah.
Y'all don't even know how to stand out here. You don't walk up behind somebody. Well, in the free world, people do walk up behind you, and people do stand behind you. Nobody,
and they don't think about it.
and listen, because you don't have a sign on the front and the back of your head saying, I've been incarcerated, don't stand behind me, it's going to trigger me and I might beat you up.
Yeah.
You don't have a sign. Unless you want to put that on a sign on the back of your head, people are not going to know that you've been incarcerated.
Yeah.
All right? A lot of times, people don't know unless you tell them that you've been incarcerated. People coming home from incarceration often feel like a fish out of water, particularly if they've done a long period of time. However, there are things that trigger them, and there are habits and things that they needed to do to survive that just don't apply out here.
Yeah, and it's done in an instant. And the problem is you react, and there's a chance you're going back.
Right.
Because